Good morning, Feel Good Talk fam. It is time to rise and shine. My name is Kendra Moore, your life insurance and retirement consultant. And I am super excited about today because today I am going to talk about something that a lot of people are not aware of when it comes to life insurance. So I'm going to be super quick. I'm going to share my screen, and you guys let me know in the comments if you like when I share my screen and do like the little drawings. I'm trying to figure out ways to keep it, interesting, interactive, so you don't have to sit here and just stare at me talk. But let me share my screen. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. My son actually had prom. Was it prom? Yeah, prom this past weekend. So that was crazy. My little baby is growing up, graduating here in less than a month. Can you believe it? Those of you who know him know that yeah, he's ready to graduate. He's ready to graduate, and I'm excited for the next chapter for him and for all our kids. Not, I only have one, but I mean us as a collective. School season is ending, so a lot of kids are going on to that next chapter, whether it's going to elementary school, middle school, high school, college. So, which is why I love being on this podcast and telling you guys this information, because one of the things that I also feel passionate about is that the information that we learn from Feel Good Talk, whether it's on this show, Izzy Meditates, whether it's on the financial show with Mr. Bazemore, I believe, whether it's a real estate show, all this great information that we're getting about our money, we need to pass it on to our kids. Let them know in ways that they understand, but don't gatekeep this information, because the sooner they know, then the better informed they are to make better decisions about their finances, better than we did. Because I wish I knew this information growing up. But here we are today. And so let's get it. So on the last podcast, what I talked about last week were the differences between permanent life insurance and term life insurance. And if you recall at the end, I said there is a commonality among both of them, which is living benefits. Now, all of the plans do not have this. This is relatively new to life insurance in terms of life insurance carriers offering living benefits, right? So if you have an old policy, and not all carriers offer living benefits, I actually work with a brokerage agency. So we have access to many different carriers. We're not just depending on one carrier, right? So through our access through many different carriers, most of the carriers that we work with, in fact, I think all of them offer living benefits. And again, if you have an older plan, it's more likely that you do not have living benefits. So if you have life insurance, I would say more, check it anyway, but especially more than 5 years old, you need to go back to your plan and see if you have living benefits included. All right. And this is why it is important. Now, let me ask you this question. What do you think is the number one cause of bankruptcy? Okay, so I'm going to give you some options. We have credit card debt. We have student loans, right? And what else do we have? We have credit card debt, student loans. You have to let me know what comes to your mind. We have medical costs. Let's choose this. So we have medical costs. Maybe that's not a good one. I don't know what he's doing there. Those are videos. I'm going to stick with pictures right now. So we have medical costs, credit card debt, student loans. So which one of these, type in the comments, which one of these do you think is the number one cause of personal bankruptcy in the United States? Credit card debt, student loans, or medical debt? Now, if you said personal medical debt is the number one cause of personal bankruptcy, you are correct. So medical debt is the number one cause of bankruptcy. Personal bankruptcy, right? Why is that? There's a lot of reasons why. A couple of reasons is that medical debt is expensive, right? So you think about the cost of healthcare, especially if depending on the type of insurance, especially for the uninsured, right? But one of the other reasons is no judgment on my spelling either, if I don't spell something right. But one of the other reasons is that medical debt is often unexpected, right? Most times we are not planning on something happening to us. We're not planning to have to dish out a whole bunch of money for something happening, right? So our regular doctor's appointments, co-pays, deductibles, all of those. And even the deductibles, because I used to work in health insurance before I went into life insurance. And I mean, deductibles can be sky high as well, right? But medical debt is the number one cause of bankruptcy. So what can we do about it? Well, one of the things is that you have to protect yourself, try to protect yourself up front from medical debt. One of the ways that the insurance carriers do this or help us do this is that they offer living benefits. Now, again, this is a new benefit feature to life insurance, and it isn't offered by all insurance companies, right? The ones I work with, they do offer this. So this is why I want you guys to know that this exists. When we think about living benefits, what are we talking about? So for living benefits, I'm actually going to move this underneath here, underneath this picture. For living benefits, we are talking about critical, chronic, or terminal illness, right? So critical, chronic, or terminal illness. So for example, if you have cancer, right? Most people don't plan on having cancer. So this is why I say medical debt is often happens because we're surprised at things that happen. So you end up with cancer. Maybe you have a heart attack, right? A heart attack or a stroke. Oh, not that heart. We want a real heart. So maybe you end up having a heart attack or a stroke, right? That's something that's often people don't plan for, don't plan to have that. And these things are costly, There's other living benefits that fall under this critical, chronic, terminal illness. But just thinking about, the common ones, cancer, heart attack, stroke, where are you coming up with this money? So number one, it's surprising. Medical cost is very expensive. So where are a lot of people coming up with the money to pay this? Now, of course, you do have, if you're lucky to have health insurance will cover some of this cost, right? Going to the doctors, etc., but it doesn't cover everything. And these costs can be really expensive, especially if you are retired, you are on Medicare, something like that. You need something to help cover these costs. So what living benefits allows you to do is that it allows you to pull forward about, I believe the carriers are about 90, I believe up to, depending on the carrier, let's say up to 90% of the death benefit of your life insurance policy. So that way you don't have to come out of pocket. Because when you think about the costs that go along with this, where do people usually try to pull money from? Well, most people, do you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank to help be able to pay for this? Well, most people, they don't, right? So it's not really coming out of your bank. Where else could it come from? Well, for a lot of people, let's say you have a 401k. So a lot of people will take money out of, I'm holding this up because let's pretend this tree is your 401k. A lot of people will end up having to dip into their 401k as an option. A lot of people may end up having to sell their house as an option to try to, pay for these medical costs. Oh, there's the house. So what insurance carriers realize is that there's really a strain and an opportunity to help people through medical debt. So they came out with living benefits. It's no extra cost to the insurance policies. So you're not paying an extra fee, in other words. So when you have the insurance policy, you would also have living benefits included. And this is both for permanent life insurance and for term life insurance. You can get living benefits. All right. So let me see if there's any comments. Hold on. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. All right. All right. So no comments yet, but I just want you guys to really be aware that when you are considering different financial tools, right, you want to look at things that's going to protect you now, but definitely in the future. And I know a lot of us do not like to think about bad things happening to us, but it's when those things do happen, for most Americans, we don't have enough savings in the bank to be able to cover those things. So you want to make sure that, your life insurance policy includes living benefits that allows you to utilize that death benefit in case you come up with a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. All right. So check your life insurance policies. If you're thinking about getting life insurance and want to have these living benefits included, I'm definitely happy to see if you sit down, no sales pressure at all, but just see what you need and then talk to you a little bit more about how the living benefits can help you and what's, all included in that category. So that's it. I'm keeping it short and sweet today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Remember to take care of yourself, take care of your finances, and have a great weekend. All right. Take care.